From Recorded Future News and PRX, this is Click Here. Hey, it's Dina. A few weeks ago, President Trump gave TikTok another reprieve, and with it, another chance to wrestle with a question no one is quite sure how to answer. Who gets to own the town square? Today, we return to our conversation with billionaire Frank McCourt. He has a plan, not just to buy TikTok, but to rewire the internet it runs on. One that replaces clicks and profits with public trust. At least, that's the idea. Take a listen.
We have a solution, purely coincidentally.
That's Frank McCourt, billionaire, former owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and now the man who wants to rewrite the DNA of the internet.
I don't want to imply that, when I launched Project Liberty in December of 2019, I was thinking that TikTok was going to be banned someday. That was not it at all. But
Right.
We happen to have a solution that solves the riddle, and it would be a wonderful way to catalyze this upgraded internet, this alternative internet.
Once, he built sports empires and skyscrapers.
She is gone!
Now he's in the business of building a better World Wide Web. And he has a plan that just may hinge on the forced sale of TikTok. From Recorded Future News, this is Click Here's Mic Drop, a longer listen to one of our favorite interviews of the week. I'm Dina Temple-Rest. And today, a dark horse in the race to buy America's favorite video app, TikTok. TikTok's Chinese parent company has a choice: cut ties with its American arm or risk being cut off entirely. Enter Frank McCourt. He wants to reinvent the internet. Who owns our data, how it's shared, who profits, and, as fate would have it, this TikTok showdown might be just the opportunity he's been waiting for.
For me, the TikTok legislation was really a gift.
Stay with us. Support for Click Here comes from Quince. With summer in full swing, I feel that familiar urge to refresh my closet. But I'm not trying to waste money on pieces I'd only wear once, or maybe just for a season. That's where Quince comes in. Their clothes are timeless, and the quality is way beyond what you'd expect for the price. Think 100% European linen tops starting at $30, washable silk dresses and skirts, and soft cotton sweaters. I have a pair of their suede mules. They're water repellent, look really expensive but aren't, and the insole is incredibly comfortable from the moment you put them on. They're the perfect slip-ons for the summer. Give your summer closet an upgrade with Quince. Go to quince.com/clickhere for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/clickhere to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/clickhere. Support for Click Here comes from the Electronic Frontier Foundation. For 35 years, the EFF has been fighting to make sure that when you go online, your rights go with you. And they have a podcast. It's called How to Fix the Internet. And it's all about getting things right in our online world. Season 6 kicked off May 7th with an episode exploring the concept of digital autonomy. The fight for digital rights is bigger and more urgent than ever. EFF is at the forefront of that battle. And because it's member-supported, the more members they have, the more they can fight for our digital rights in state houses, in courthouses, and everywhere. Visit EFF.org/podcast to listen to How to Fix the Internet and join EFF.
This show is supported by Odoo. When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
Jan Marsalek was a model of German corporate success.
It seemed so damn simple for him.
Also, it turned out, a fraudster.
Where does the money come from? That was something that I always was questioning myself.
But what if I told you that was the least interesting thing about him?
His secret office was less than 500 meters down the road.
I often ask myself now, did I know the true Jan at all?
Certain things in my life since then have gone terribly wrong.
I don't know if they followed me to my home.
It looks like the ingredients of a really grand spy story here, because this ties together the Cold War with the new one.
Listen to Hot Money, Agent of Chaos, wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Dina Temple-Rust, and this is Click Here's Mic Drop. Frank McCourt doesn't really sugarcoat things, particularly not when it comes to the internet and what he thinks is wrong with it.
It's made us dumber. It's corrupted our information ecosystem. It's very difficult to separate fact from fiction. We're barely governable. We're polarized. Children are being harmed and taken advantage of. There's a lot broken with the internet.
That wasn't how it started, he said.
We thought the internet was kind of inherently a good thing. We thought it was inherently democratizing. Somehow it was going to make us all smarter and advance civilization.
But instead of empowering individuals, he says, it has enriched a handful of tech titans who hoover up our personal data, or, as he thinks of it, our personhood.
I just would urge your listeners, every time they hear the word data, think personhood. It's who we are in the digital age, and we should own ourselves.
These tech titans, of course, don't just collect our data, they profit from it. And yet we continue to give away our data freely. Click I agree, accept cookies, trade privacy for convenience. And Frank says it's more than just a bad deal. It's an existential threat.
I think people are understanding more and more and quickly that it's having these big platforms have all this information about each of us is not a great thing. But having these big platforms be able to affect the way we think and manipulate us is a very, very bad thing.
This is what inspired Frank to create what he calls Project Liberty.
Project Liberty is really about bringing the internet forward in a way that takes all of the good things that the internet provides and actually fix and address the obvious design flaws in a way that will make it a more powerful tool for people and not a more powerful tool to exploit people.
At its core, Project Liberty is a new foundation for the web, a new protocol. He calls it DSNP, the Decentralized Social Networking Protocol.
It's a protocol which actually enables individuals to interact directly, to be in control on the internet, not have data being scraped by large platforms, but rather we as individuals would own our identity, our data, our relationships, and permission its use.
What he thinks DSNP could do is a little similar to what the Telecommunications Act did back in 1996. Before the act, your phone number belonged to the carrier. If you switched companies, you lost your number. Just about everybody hated that. Then the law changed. Your number became yours. Frank says DSNP would do that for people's online data. Today, if an influencer leaves Instagram, they leave their audience behind. Under DSNP, they could take their followers with them.
And imagine the apps as modern-day telcos. They should be interoperable. You shouldn't be stuck on a single app with all your relationships that you've built up over time.
This would make it harder for any website to lock you in.
This new internet, where you have a single sign-on, you don't have 50 passwords that you have to remember for 50 different apps, because the apps are built using the same protocol and you have access to all of them.
Frank has already launched DSNP. He says it already has about 2 million users. And if momentum keeps building, the number could hit 30 million by year's end. Which sounds impressive, but in the grand scheme of the internet, where 5.5 billion people are connected, it's barely a drop in the digital ocean. A few smaller platforms like MeWe and We Are 8 have signed on. But for DSNP to truly take off, it needs something bigger, a major player, a name that carries weight. And that's where TikTok comes in. In April 2024, when the House passed a bill to force the sale of TikTok, Frank immediately saw an opening.
So where were you when you decided this whole TikTok ban might be a gift? Or did you see it coming?
Yeah, actually, I was in the back of an SUV, and the news came forward that this legislation had passed.
New at 11, a bill that could ban TikTok here in the U.S. is now headed to President Biden's desk for his...
So I started a conversation saying, look, let's check, but I think our technology actually, coincidentally, meets the criteria.
The bill demanded that TikTok's American operations be sold to a non-Chinese owner. And McCourt says he's already made a bid and submitted it to the Chinese with a simple argument.
We would be the best buyer and maybe the only viable buyer because we've built the full stack from the bottom up that solves for the national security concerns that drove the legislation in the first instance. We're hoping that that China and ByteDance decide to sell U.S. TikTok without the back end, without the algorithm and the Chinese technology, and in which case we think we're in an excellent position to buy what's left.
And is the $20 billion bid, is that number correct?
Yeah, we've been a bit circumspect about talking about numbers, but having said that, I've been fairly outspoken prior to formally submitting the bid, and our offer was consistent with my public comment.
McCourt also has been in talks with the White House. Vice President J.D. Vance is said to be leading the effort to find a buyer for the app, and Frank was coy about saying whether he'd talked with Vance directly.
But I can confirm that we've been in dialogue with the White House and with Vice President Vance's office, and those are active conversations.
But will ByteDance, and more importantly Beijing, agree to sell?
The honest answer to your question is we don't know what China is going to do. We don't know if they're going to sell U.S. TikTok or just shut it down. That's the big question right now.
If Frank McCourt gets what he wants, TikTok could be the launch pad for his new decentralized internet. And if he doesn't, he says he'll keep pushing.
One thing that's going to happen for sure is that Project Liberty is going to continue down the path it's going on, whether it buy U.S. TikTok or not. We're going to continue to move forward. It's not like the internet is a nice-to-have thing at this stage of the game. It's a must-have. We're all connected morning, noon, and night. And I think we're at a very important, fork in the road. Are we going to be kind of dragged into a future where everything about us is owned by someone else? Or are we going to design and build the future we want, which actually returns to people what is rightfully theirs, in my opinion, which is everything about us? It should be ours to determine how it's used.
From Recorded Future News, this has been Click Here's Mic Drop. It was written and produced by Megan Dietrich, Sean Powers, Erica Gaida, Zach Hirsch, Lucas Riley, and me, Dina Temple-Rest. It was edited by Karen Duffin. We'll be back on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.
Looking for more of the cybersecurity and intelligence coverage you get on Click Here? Then check out our sister publication, The Record, from Recorded Future News. You'll get breaking cyber news from reporters in New York, Washington, London, and Kyiv, among others. And you'll see for yourself why it attracts hundreds of thousands of page views every month. Just go to therecord.media.